Islands are dreamy, picturesque vacation destinations, but they're also producing some of today's most exciting wines. Join Crush on this as we travel virtually to the island of Sicily. And we invite you to watch along, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share with us what island wines you enjoy. Islands are dreamy. They're vacation destinations. But did you know that many islands are also producing some of today's most exciting wines? Think about it. There's Sicily and Sardinia, there's Corsica and Santorini and Crete, Tasmania, New Zealand, Canary Islands, Madeira. Bet you didn't realize they were all islands. And while each of these islands has a different climate, unique terroirs, and wine styles, what they have in common is that islands are not very large, and the wines are usually grown really close to major bodies of water. And another common factor is that most islands tend to have some volcanic soil because that's how islands are formed, by volcanic activity. And this soil has a lot of minerality and it's very porous, and that allows the vines to dig deep and create these really aromatic wines, very flavorful wines, and sometimes more enticing wines, one might say. So for our enticing wines today, we have gone to the largest island of Italy. Italy is made up of 450 islands, but the largest island is Sicily.
Yeah, that's right, Allison. Sicily is the largest island actually in the Mediterranean Sea, and it's been making wine since 4000 BC. It has 23 DOCs, Denominazione di Origine. Did I get that right? Almost. And
Yes.
one DOCG, and can be divided broadly into 4 geographical regions. Now, Sicilia or Sicily DOC is a broad island-wide appellation, and another well-known appellations are Etna DOC and Marsala DOC. You've probably heard of those. The DOCG is Cerasuolo di Vittoria DOCG. I can't wait till all my Italian friends respond.
Girasuola.
Sarasota. I knew it. Okay, Alec, tell us some more.
Yeah, well, so one of the things that Italy does is that they focus primarily on indigenous varieties. So the key red grapes are Nero d'Avola, Frappato, and Nerello Mascalese. And then for white wines, you get Catarratto, which is the most planted grape in Sicily, but also grapes like Grillo, Inzilio, and Caracante, which is really fun to say, are some of the other indigenous grapes. And of course, they grow international varieties as well. So Cindy, on your trip to Sicily, what wine did you pick?
It's a virtual trip. I've never been there yet, but I chose a wine from Planeta, one of my favorite producers in Sicily. I've had plenty of their wines. They're so consistently delicious. It's from a blend of wines probably have known, Nero d'Avola and 50% Syrah, and it's only $13, which I find fabulous for everyday drinking. It's rosé. Planeta, though, began in the mid-'80s when four brothers, the Planeta family, their family owned the estate since the 1600s. So they began matching. They came in and they're like, we're going to match the diverse soils of Sicily with not only native but international varieties. So this is the inception of the winery. And so today, Planeta has grown to encompass 6 distinct wine estates in 5 regions across Sicily. So they're pretty large. But the rosé I chose is from grapes cultivated on the family's Dispensa estate in the Menfi Hills. So from the sea to the hills, Menfi territory is 250 acres, quite large, hectares. So it's quite large. Soil is limestone mixed with yellow and gray chalk with just very few stones. The Nero d'Avola and Syrah, if you want to get geeky, were fermented separately, then blended and aged in stainless steel. So I love look at the color. It's like a ballerina. So it's like platinum. It's just, so it's, I know, it's like on point. Reminds you, and really, it's so elegant. And the floral notes, hibiscus and rose hip, hints of wild strawberries, blackberries, and just bright, juicy melon. So refreshing, snappy acidity. I love it. The summer peaches. What's more, $13 for this bottle? It's fabulous. And what I would pair with it would just be light snacks, maybe a cheese plate, Marcona almonds, But even going into a meal, vegetables and tempura and, you know, even sushi would be perfect. I know. I know. I can't wait to like dive down into this.
It kind of
So
covers a broad range of everything.
I know it's pretty much it. So Allie, what's in your glass? I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting. You have a rosé from both an indigenous and an international variety with the Nero d'Avola and the Syrah. I
Right.
went fully indigenous here. I went to a winery called Caruso and Menini, which is located on the western side of Sicily in Marsala. So you know, a lot of us think of Marsala as that what we cook with, but these are wines that I didn't cook with. These are wines I'm drinking. So in the 1990s, the Caruso family partnered with the Menini family, who are from Piedmont, and they started a winery with the intention of controlling the entire process, you know, from growing the grapes to making the wine to guarantee quality. Sicily was not necessarily known for beyond bulk wine many years ago, and we have wines like Planeta and others who have really upped the game of Sicily. And today it's run by the third generation sisters, Giovanna and Rosanna.
Oh,
They're really close to the sea. They have 120 hectares on a hilly area, and it gets a lot of wind. So two of the grapes that make up Marsala, which, like I said, we know from cooking, are Catarato and Pedicone. And Caruso and Menini has an organic line, and they make both of these grapes as single variety wines. And I had a really hard time choosing between the two of them because a red and a white, and they're both really good. I'm going to show you the label. Beautiful organic label.
wow.
It kind of
Beautiful.
conjures up that biodynamic feel. So Catarato is as I said before, the #1 planted white grape in Sicily. And it's often in a blend, but luckily here, single variety wine. It's got this really pretty floral and tropical nose. It's got this, I was drinking before, really long mineral finish. And there's this elegance and deliciousness that I would pair this with like a light pasta dish, maybe even with like some lemon on it, or fish or chicken. And then Pedicone is the one of the oldest grapes, but it's been often overlooked for Nero d'Avola. In fact, there are 12,000 hectares of Nero d'Avola planted and only 200 to 400 hectares of Pedicone. And luckily, Giovanna and Rosanna's grandfather has 5 of those hectares, just 5 little hectares, and he kept them. And they were one of the first wineries to believe in the grape. And I'm really glad they did, because it's got rich red fruits, I mean, I smelled it and tasted it and felt like I was smelling blueberry pie.
Oh, wow.
Candied blueberry, dried herbs, balsamic notes, really good acidity, soft fruit tannins. I'd share the bottle, but I drank it last night in preparation. But I mean, it works really well with like a meat dish, but also even a really fatty fish. We enjoyed it with some salmon last night, actually. So there you go.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. You know, I love that I had a blend of an indigenous and an international variety, and you chose the indigenous varieties. But I think the thread that we both have is that bright, fresh, and the minerality. I think I think so much of Sicily does express that minerality that you can find there. So
I totally agree. We're not talking about over the top reds.
No,
and
no.
you know, texture. Yeah, I'm totally with you. So we hope that you're also feeling the island vibes with these wines. Sicily has a ton of wines to discover. So we invite you to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss another episode, and head out and get some Sicilian wines.
Yeah. Cheers.